on cloud nine, but equally so sick. I told myself that I was gonna rest today, but then I got out the camera and I started filming because I simply cannot help myself at the moment. So on that note, excuse my voice throughout the entirety of this video. So as you saw this morning, I did a guided meditation, and it is a specific meditation that I think I've shown on my channel before, but I swear every single time I do it, it is just like so transformative and so clarifying. Like the way that it gets you to visualize your dream, like ideal reality, it just makes you feel like you're actually already living it. It is by far the best like manifestation meditation I've ever come across. I'm actually gonna link it down below, and I'll pop the thumbnail up on screen right now because I just think like everybody needs to do this meditation. It is so good. But basically once a year, sometimes more, depending on when I feel like I need it. Honestly, I kind of forgot that these prompts kind of existed this year, so I'm doing them now. But basically, I just think that these are amazing for anyone that wants to gain some clarity on what they want out of life. Like obviously we all want to be happy and loved and successful, but sometimes it can be very fuzzy when we start to think about like the exact details. And while a lot of life is unpredictable, I feel like these prompts can at least get you kind of started if you really are feeling lost. Or in my case, it's just going to accelerate my manifestations and just make me feel good about my future and excited and all that good stuff. The first prompt that I wanted to talk about is, what moments are you happiest and most fulfilled? Figuring out what you want really does come down to when are you absolutely just your most aligned and most happy? Because I feel like when we think about those moments when we feel that way, super excited and happy and aligned and motivated, fulfilled, just generally loving life, those are the moments where you can kind of pull information from. What environment were you in? What people were you with? What were you doing? What were you talking about? And you can kind of figure out like, okay, I need to cultivate these situations in my life a lot more, and what does that mean long term? Another thing that I love to do, and this is definitely something that you've probably heard of before, it's a very popular concept, but picture your most aligned self, also known as your true self, your highest self, etc. But what are their daily habits? What do their routines look like? What things do they prioritize throughout their day? Also, how do they show up in their daily life, and how do they impact the world and those around them? What environment do you feel best in? Is it the mountains? Is it by the water, like by lakes or the ocean, rivers, glaciers? I don't know. Or do you feel better in like small towns or cities, perhaps? I feel like most people kind of already know this, but again, it's good to just like check in with yourself. Like I know for a fact I do not cope well in cities, hence why I literally never go into Vancouver because that shit stresses me out. This one is another huge one that I always try to ask myself. And honestly, this has helped me cultivate the most incredible group of people in my life. What type of people do you want to be surrounding yourself with? How do they make you feel? What kind of things do they talk about, and what are their main qualities? I mean, we've all heard the quote, you are most like the top 5 people that you spend the most time with. When I am around really like high vibrational, happy, motivated, ambitious people, that is when I'm showing up as my best self. That's also when I feel motivated to continue working on myself. And yeah, what do you want to spend your time doing? I heard in a podcast, I'm pretty sure it was the Deja Blue podcast, but she was talking about when she was assessing her line of work and like what she wanted to do as her career. She was first thinking about, okay, what do I feel most called to do? But then also she decided to factor in, okay, how much time do I want to actually spend working, and how much time do I want to have just to be able to exist and do other things and go on adventures and travel and everything. I think that that is a really unique approach to life, and it's something that I'm trying to adopt in my own life. But yeah, what do you want to spend your time doing? Like, what makes you feel excited to wake up every morning? And maybe right now that's just a hobby. Obviously a lot of people in the world are not necessarily in a place where they can just paint all day or read all day, but it's important to ask yourself these questions just to make sure that you're making time for the things that make you happy. And this last question is my favorite question, and it's one, again, that I try to ask myself at least on a yearly basis just to reconnect myself to my vision. And this one especially hits different after you've done the meditation, so I strongly recommend doing that. But picture your ideal reality. What does a day in your life look like? So when you're asking yourself this question, think about what your morning routine looks like. What room are you waking up in? What does the house that you're waking up in look like? Who is around you? Maybe you are in a certain relationship, maybe you have a partner. What habits do you do in the morning? What do you eat for breakfast? What does your work day look like? What do you spend your time doing in the afternoon? What friends do you connect with? How do those relationships make you feel? And also, what does your evening and nighttime routine look like? And I also want to emphasize the importance of doing this specific prompt in like present tense, as if that was already your reality. I actually do these specific prompts in my manifestation journal, which I have been trying to just connect with more recently, and I highly recommend making a manifestation journal this year. Like, it just makes me so happy seeing my vision in like a concrete, like tangible thing that I can hold and flip through every day. And I've just found so much value in doing that. I've decided that that is my future, and I'm not going to stop until I make it my reality. I'm just thinking of that one Pinterest post that's like, girl says she won't stop until she makes her Pinterest board her reality. That's me. And I did make a new Pinterest board for this year, and it makes me so happy. And the last thing that I will say is that if you feel a little bit confused or unsure when you're doing these prompts, that is totally okay. It is completely a long process of figuring out what you want to do with your life. Getting a little bit clearer on things gradually is such an amazing practice, and I wish you the best. I wish you good luck in filling out these prompts, and I will talk to you in my next video. Bye!